إلا لمن أخلص لك في صيامه وقيامه. فمن للمذنب المقصر إذا غرق في بحر ذنوبه وآثامه. إلهي إن كنت لا ترحم إلا المطيعين فمن للعاصين، وإن كنت لا تقبل إلا من العاملين فمن للمقصرين. إلهي ربح الصائمون وفاز القائمون ونجى المخلصون ونحن عبيدك المذنبون، فارحمنا برحمتك وعاتقنا من النار بعفوك يا كريم يا أرحم الراحمين. وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم ادخل على أهل القبور السرور، اللهم أغني كل فقير، اللهم اشبع كل جائع، اللهم اكسو كل عريان، اللهم اقض دين كل مدين، اللهم فرج عن كل مكروب، اللهم رد كل غريب، اللهم فك كل أسير، اللهم اصلح كل فاسد من أمور المسلمين، اللهم اشفي كل مريض، اللهم سد فقرنا بغناك، اللهم غير سوء حالنا بحسن حالك، اللهم اقض عنا الدين وأغننا من الفقر إنك على كل شيء قدير. وصل اللهم على محمد وآله الطاهرين.
ثم الصلاة والسلام والتحية والإكرام على خاتم النبيين والسيد المرسلين أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين، لا سيما على الإمام المنتظر، ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد، فقد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه الكريم القرآن الحكيم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان. صلوات. Last night we had reached a point where we were discussing, after having discussed the various benefits of Surah Kahf, we had started to move further in the sense that how did this surah and why did the surah was it revealed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We had mentioned that every ayat that comes out from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it comes out because of events that take place. And we've given two examples, the event of Ghadir, the event of the adab on that individual who doubted the wilayat of Amir al-Mu'mineen salawatullahi wassalamu alayhi. Now we slowly start going more into the depths of the surah. And we had reached a point where we were talking about we needed to understand when and for what reason. Okay. Thank you. So I've decided to put some PowerPoint slides as we go forward. It becomes easier because tafsir is something that you need to focus on word by word. And that will also give an opportunity when an ayah comes, you recite the month of Ramadan, every ayah you recite, one Quran, thawab, it's always nur ala nur. Okay, very quickly. So in terms of the reason why the surah was revealed, Surah Kahf, we had stopped at a point yesterday, and in order to understand this, we need to go back a little in time to understand how the Jews associated with the Holy Prophet and the world of Islam. Although I must mention, Surah Kahf is a Makki surah. It was revealed in Makkah. But overall, the general perception how things worked was that when the Prophet moved to Medina, he established a lot of relationships with the Jews and the various tribes around. So people who say that it's a violent religion, it was spread at the point of a sword, I mean, they don't know the history, because the first thing that the Prophet did was establish brotherhood between the Muhajirin and Ansar, and secondly, established peace treaties and covenances with the various tribes, the Jewish tribes around. So initially when we went there, it was all absolutely hunky-dory. Where did things go wrong? And we mentioned yesterday, Surah Baqarah, verse number 275. And where did that verse create a problem was this. Jews from times immemorial have been a very affluent community. They had a lot of wealth. And you heard about it in Majalis and the Battle of Khaybar and the fort of Khaybar and the gold that was there at the time. And they would have to break it with pickaxes, the gold, to distribute it. And so the reason was that they had always endeavored, they knew that the final messenger would come from them. And in order to help him, they had started collecting money, funds, horses, ammunitions, equipments, tools, so that when he would come, they would help him. They were expecting him to be from the Jewish community. He turned out from the Arab community. And so despite the fact that Quran says, وَيَعْرِفُونَهُ كَمَا يَعْرِفُونَ أَبْنَاءَهُم, the description of the Holy Prophet was so meticulously maintained in the Torah that they knew him as they would know their children. When you have our children in a gathering of 200 people, you just look in one eye sight, you look and you know, oh, that's my son. Because you know him so well in and out that you don't need to look around. One glance and say, oh, my son is sitting over there. Quran says they knew about the Holy Prophet just as so closely as if they knew their children. But this bias and prejudice that they wanted him to be from the Jewish community, he came out from the Arab community, they turned back. As a result of it, they were very financially very strong. Even at the time of the Arabian Peninsula, at the time of Hijrah, they were financially very strong. Now you have to understand, in Medina, when the Prophet migrated, there were the Jewish communities on the periphery of Medina. Khaybar is a few kilometers outside Medina in those days. And then you have the Arab tribes in Medina. There was a very symbiotic relationship between the Arabs and the Jews at that time. And the symbiotic relationship was this, that the Jews had a lot of money. The Arabs did not have money. But the Arabs had military power, which the Jews did not have. So what the Jews would do is they would go to different tribes. Each tribe, we are economic people, we are community. You are a military community. You're experts in warfare, we are experts in economics. We don't have a military background to support us. You know, the kind of the mafia sub stuff that goes on. We give you money, you protect us. So each Jewish tribe would pick up one Arab tribe and say, we will give you protection money. You have to protect us. If there an aggression takes place on us by any other tribe, you have to bring your military might to support. So every of these tribes of the Arabs in and around Medina had a group of the Arab tribe that they were supporting. So they would get the money from the Jews and they would support them militarily. The entire financial background of the Jews in those times, as it is now, was based on one thing, which is interest. Today, the entire financial world runs on interest. Whether it is you take your credit card, whether you take mortgages from the bank, whether you take loans from the bank, whether it's buy now and pay later, it's all based on one fundamental fulcrum, and that is interest. So the Jews, the entire financial structure as is currently imposed on in terms of the banking system with interest, over there exactly it was the same. So initially everything was, as I mentioned, hunky-dory. Everybody liked. They are getting support of the Arabs. The Arabs are getting